It's August 14th at the home farm today, getting food plots planted. I've got to put down some fertilizer. I don't have to, but I have it and I'm going to. I think the plot would be fine without it, but anyway, I didn't get to do the no-till thing this year with the buckwheat, with availability and shipping craziness, and I couldn't get the buckwheat seed, and I mean I could have, but I just didn't do it. But I own a disc. I know long term it's not the best to till all the time, but I really don't till every year. It's on a rotation, so this part I actually hit with the disc yesterday. Hasn't been done for 2 years. So anyway, I own a disc, and until seed becomes a little more available and easier to get, this is what we're going to do. I think next year I can get into it, but anyway, I'm going to spread some fertilizer on this side, which is the peas, beans, oats. There's some wheat in the mix and some small percentage of some other little things like clover and a few brassica, which again, with seed issues this year, I'm kind of making my own mix with what I could buy over the counter. So but anyway, it's mostly peas and beans. Like I said, a pretty high percentage of oats and a little bit of wheat. And 3 or 4 weeks later, I'll top dress that with rye. The other plot on the other side of this is a strip of corn that's an acre. It's in between the two plots, but on the other side of the corn is going to be the brassica. So these plots were overtaken with pigweed again because I couldn't cover my crop with the buckwheat. So I sprayed and I kept the weeds down, everything except the pigweed. Roundup or glyphosate just won't touch it. So I had to have it sprayed with a special herbicide, which isn't too bad. I just needed enough to spray an acre. So on the brassica side, I just sprayed it, and I'm just going to let it let it decompose. There's enough bare dirt showing that I'll just broadcast the seed right into it, and it should be fine. So when they get up 8-10 inches high, I'll hit them with nitrogen and they'll just explode. I've had purple top turnips in here, big as a bowling ball almost, So the brassica does well. This field has, it's always been ag, and it's got good pH, and things grow well in it. So I'm gonna spread this fertilizer, even out my seed bed a little bit, and just got several things to do today for food plot planting. Also, over by my orchard, there's a patch there of just where the fescue just won't give up. Nothing else is coming in there. So I mowed it, killed it, and I'm gonna overseed clover and just a little bit of radish into that whole orchard area, which is expanded now because, like I said, I mowed down some fescue and I just made it bigger, and it gives me room to plant 4 or 5 more trees and just add another attraction and more food here on the home farm. So that's what we're doing today. I'll show you these seed mixes here in a little bit. Okay, this is the seed I'm working with. This is the mix of stuff that I put together. It's mostly peas and beans, but there's oats and some other stuff in there too. It's my brassica. It was a blend that I added radish to, Northwoods. I actually have used their seed pretty much exclusively until this year. Their screening had an issue with. I actually replanted it, did a complete replant, and still didn't get very good results. But not to say it couldn't have been something I did. This clover got a good take on it in the orchard, but drought killed it out. So that's what I just overseeded that with, and the added part to the orchard that I mentioned. But anyway, that's my seed. I got some of this stuff too. That's a brassica, and I've got some radish that I got from Ag Supply cover crop. So it's just a hodgepodge of a bunch of different crap. Okay, this main plot is planted. This triangle side here is like a 3 or 4 tenths of a acre. This is the brassica side. All those weeds you see are pigweed, and they've been sprayed. Just gonna leave them standing. There's a lot of bare dirt showing through, and last year I went through and brush hogged it and everything, but with the brassica I just don't think it's necessary. So, and then strip of corn down the middle. I actually have a stand right up there in that cedar tree, right in there. That's a one or two hunt spot right there. Other side of the corn here is peas and beans, and I did brush hog it and disc it, dragged it, fertilized, seeded it, drug it again, and then I don't know if you can see, but I've thoroughly gone over this whole thing with the side-by-side tires to pack it all in. It looks good. Got good seed to soil contact. You can find a few seeds still laying on top, but for the most part they're all packed in and should germinate well, assuming we get the rain they're calling for. So these two are planted. Got to go up and do my timber plot back on the south side of the farm. So I'll do it next. This is the orchard. 11 trees I think I got planted there, apples, pears, and I have one chestnut. So this is the spot where I brush hogged and killed it with glyphosate, and went in and overseeded clover and just a little bit of radish in with it. I had a good stand of clover in that orchard this spring, but the drought set in, and I mean there's still some in there, but it's not a beautiful clover plot like it once was, obviously. But this got seeded into to be more of a benefit for next year, but you know, got to get seed in the ground when it's the right time, and with the clover I think fall is the better time, so it's in. Okay, this is the persimmon plot. It's the back side of the farm, south side of the farm. It's between a fifth and an eighth of an acre. Planted it same sort of procedure as the main plot, back on the other side of the farm. This back corner here is the peas and beans and grains. This half here is brassica. Like I said, we call it the persimmon plot. Several persimmon trees around the plot, and there's persimmons this year, but it's pretty scarce as compared to some of the years. It's just been so dry. But anyway, everything's planted on the home farm now. Oh man, I'm gonna have to clear out some shooting lanes. Man, that stuff comes back quick. I've got to stand there. Maybe I can shoot around that. That might be a good, good sort of screen for that stand. But there's a stand right there, tripod to hunt this plot. Mock scrape right there. Everything's planted, home farm and the new farm. So come on, rain.